Did you know hidden deep in the Imperial factories of Sullust are a bunch of small Dianoga? Since they can recycle materials through digestion, the Empire breeds them in their trash compactors, making it perfect for a manufacturing site like Sullust Refinery, though these ones are a lot smaller than the one found on the Death Star, and makes me wonder if there was a Dianoga in the Droid factory on Mustafar. In fact, these two lava planets have a lot of crazy secrets in the Battlefront games. Although Sullust was never shown in the films, it was mentioned in this scene of episode 6.
What of the reports of the rebel fleet massing near Sullust?
Which was actually a diversionary attack to draw some of the Imperial fleet away from Endor and the second Death Star. Now, this was a playable mission in Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron for the PSP, but as you can probably tell, Sullust looks a bit different, having these deep caves with crystal power generators like on Megiddo and stormy green weather effects, as opposed to the clear skies, turquoise spring waters, and lava rivers of the 2015 version. In fact, Sullust in the reboot shares much of the same Imperial equipment found on Endor, considering their connection. Plus, you probably didn't know that 9 Num species are originally from Sullust, which is probably why he was Lando's co-pilot in the Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
Both Sullust and Mustafar are the only lava planets included in their respective Battlefront titles, so it's no surprise they share some visual similarities. But did you know that Mustafar was actually being developed for Battlefront 2's reboot as a Heroes vs Villains map before its live service support was shut down? This has been confirmed by multiple developer comments after the fact, and was rumored that they were gonna reuse some assets from Sullust, since the molten landscape looks pretty similar. Plus, some of the Skywalker Saga's maps took some inspiration from Battlefront 2's layout design, so it's also rumored that the LEGO Games rendition of Mustafar was also inspired off the unfinished assets of Battlefront 2, but this hasn't been confirmed. Either way, it's a shame we never got to see this iconic planet make a return in the Battlefront franchise. Although you can't select Mustafar Space Battle in instant action, it is available in Galactic Conquest, being one of the most aesthetically pleasing maps in the game thanks to this red aura, not to mention the amazing view we get of the planet itself, which is also one of the most easily recognizable planets thanks to its deep red appearance. George Lucas even said that he wanted Mustafar to symbolize hell for Anakin, hence the ash sky that covers the whole planet. It's strange why the devs never added this map to instant action, since most players can easily miss it unless you play the story mode. Speaking of which, the campaign mission involving Mustafar has the Empire stop a new droid rebellion led by a Geonosian called Gizor Delsor that used the planet's abandoned droid factories. This is the only time the Empire can verse the CIS in the game, making both the space and ground battle really unique. The mission has you first destroy their capital ship as they try invading yours, but once you arrive on the planet's surface, you realize Gizor Delsor is also trying to create prototypes of new and improved battle droids, though the Empire manages to destroy their schematics, and after hunting down Delsor and his squad of Geonosians, the Empire orbital strikes the facility so another droid uprising won't happen. These missions do a great job of showing just how different these villain factions were, as it's always cool seeing the size comparison of both capital ships among other things, and I wish the game let us cross-battle freely in instant action so we could have gotten more of these rare voice lines.
Super battle droid, shut down the droids!
Although Sullust has no movie references around the map since the developers created it for the game, it still is a very unique planet, having fields of dried volcanic sulfur and mud baths that kill the player if you stand in it for too long. Plus, these sulfuric pools with the vibrant turquoise coloring mentioned earlier that I wish were added to other Sullust maps as well. In fact, the Sulfur Fields map also has realistic crabs running around, these horseshoe crab lookalikes swimming in the lakes, as well as ash angel birds flying around the sky. Looking off in the distance on Sullust pipelines shows a very similar scenery to Mustafar, and these two star destroyers docked at a port with the sun in the background. Going into the warehouse, you can find these big lava containers similar to those used in the Geonosis factory, even more filled trash compactors, and a lot of different manufacturing machines and furnaces. Pipelines is similar to Sullust Refinery, but that has a bit more active manufacturing equipment and this evil looking cave, which is pretty cool, while the main galactic assault map is just a docking area, hence the hangar for vehicles and the Super Star Destroyer taking off in the background. And man, does this thing look cool. It's so huge compared to the regular Star Destroyers. In contrast, Mustafar's map from Battlefront 2 is heavily inspired off what was shown in episode 3, including most of the key areas of Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight from start to finish. And although the campaign made a lot of fans believe this is a droid factory, it's actually a mining facility like on Sullust, while the factory mentioned is hidden somewhere close by, with some of this map's areas being repurposed. Also, Mustafar has 2 sentient native species that were briefly shown in the film. The South Mustafarians that are short and bulky, while their northern counterparts are tall and slender. Both can withstand the heat of blaster bolts but still need resistant armor for lava. Other creatures from this planet include the giant lava fleas, which are used to ride across the terrain by the natives, and surprisingly rogwarts, which are the species of Grievous's pet from the Clone Wars. Mustafar's beta version has a few interesting differences. As seen on Phantom's channel, the right strut of these metal beams was actually destroyed, while the left side had a walkway inside the metal beam. This was later changed in the final cut to just the normal walkway leading to the bottom platform. The landing area also looked a bit different, and it goes without saying that the whole place was less detailed. Plus, on the PSP version of the game, the control room is completely missing, including all doors that lead to the area. Not sure why they did this, since other bigger maps weren't cut down, but thankfully every version does have these lava vents that choke the player if they stand on top of it. By jumping down on this small patch of ground under the walkway, you can fly into the map and look from the inside. In fact, Mustafar has a few glitches scattered around the map that are pretty easy to do. Without using any cheats, you can walk on the lava river without dying in this area. For some reason it has floor coating, but walking too far will lead to a drop off eventually. If this bridge gets destroyed, you can still walk on the railings without dying, but you're kinda stuck without a jetpack. Also, your screen starts violently shaking while you're down there thanks to the lava effect being really broken. And by flying up to these railings at the highest command post, you can walk to the upper platforms to see the map from beyond the sky barrier. But this can't be done in the classic collection since its skybox is a lot lower. Plus, for some reason, these squares appear on the map in one of the last objectives in the campaign. And you can't play as the Droidica in the CTF version of the map, with the Republic Sniper also being changed to its Kashyyyk variant as well for some reason. Because the atmosphere on Sullust can be very toxic, the natives mostly live in subterranean cities, which is why stormtroopers get this really cool oxygen backpack as well as lava guards for their legs when playing on the map. But not sure why the rebels don't use similar gear. If you look closely in this cutscene on the Sullust training mission, you can see this stormtrooper bonk his head on the platform just like the scene from episode 4. Although Sullust wasn't a multiplayer map in Battlefront 2, it was featured in the campaign where Lando and his rebel friend infiltrate an Imperial manufacturing facility. What's cool is that you actually get to see the inside of AT-ATs, which is rarely shown in-game. It's always cool seeing these kinds of small details since it makes the machines feel a lot more real. AT-STs can also be found around the factory as well as other interesting machines. Eventually, Lando floods the entire site with lava, giving the whole map a really cool feel that can only be done on lava planets like Sullust. Again, a shame we didn't get to see more of this planet in the game, but there's a lot more hidden details scattered around other maps across the Battlefront franchise. Find out more here.